What's one thing about Uganda?
One thing about Uganda, as a country, I think compared to all the other places I've been, it would be the people. Ugandans are very nice people. So even it feels like people have a lot of trust. In other places I've been in, people have trust issues, man. It's almost everyone is moving on eggshells. It's only in Uganda where a border guy can tell you everything about his family. Biakola, nimiro jaina, those things. Where you sit somewhere in like a restaurant and the woman gives you a whole kavozi about his entire lifeline and Javud and everything. So if I had to pick just one thing I like about my country, it's the people. The people are real.
The people are real, man. It's a weird thing. Someone went to Kenya. Man, someone just shows you where the toilet is. And they want you to pay.
Man.
It was crazy. And what's your hot take? Your unpopular opinion when it comes to the creative space in Uganda?
Man, the creative space in Uganda, for all the years I've tried to exist in this space, people don't know what they're doing. A lot of the people are jacks of all trades, but they have not actually taken time to master crafts. It's like everyone is still trying to figure out what am I doing, what the biggest percentage of creatives that they believe. Someone has told me before that to strive in this space, you need to know a lot of things, which I agree with, because I can do, I think, almost anything creative apart from singing, of course. But I just don't think that is a reason for you to neglect the excellence in your work. So we do have, of course, creatives that are very excellent, but the biggest portion, especially the people that are known, they have no idea what they're doing. And we have settled as a country for that mediocre work that it's okay. I'm probably going to be short for this, but people that don't know. Like, let me give an example. Because I'm first a tech person and then a dancer, but let me focus on dance because I can speak for the dance industry. When you look at a lot of the top dancers that we have, or people that call themselves choreographers, because something tells me they don't even know what that word means. Putting a series of movements together doesn't make you a choreographer. When you just come out and put this move and this move and this move, and you make a combo, that doesn't make you a choreographer, right? Yeah. So a lot of people that are self-acclaimed choreographers they don't even have an understanding of the style of dance they do. That's why you find people saying they're doing skonto when they're doing coupe de calais. You find people saying they're doing leg work when they're doing azonto. You find people, man, it's like there is the people that we're supposed to look up to, that God has given these platforms, don't take the initiative to make the right use of them. Because the most amazing creatives and, let's say, dancers I have met in my life have been people that are very happy, successful in the industry, but you don't know them. The most they have is like 2K followers on Instagram. Nenga waliwo ba 100K. Nayenga, hey, they do a combo of 20 seconds na choreographing yao ka concert. Ngachimaze, ngafuse serebu wafi. And success comes in two skins. Success can come, they know you're everywhere. That is success in a way, for us, especially the people that want to be relevant. Yeah. But then there's another level of success that has your bag bagged. It has you mentioned in big places. Naenga, a layman doesn't know that this is the person behind a lot of this work.
Yeah.
And man, for me, if you asked a lot of people I've worked with, I'd rather be in the background, being in the lights. I've done it just once.
Honestly, that's a very like different thing from what I thought of you. I thought you're someone who likes
No,
the spotlight. And
I was once that person, but
what happened?
I think I just grew. I grew up. I realized that there's beauty in behind the curtains than the stage. I've been I think in the light once for my production, my story.
Yeah.
That is when I was the spotlight, and that was not the very best experience. Because
speaking of when you say my story, I remember like you did a production around the time when productions were everywhere. Like everyone was trying to do a dance production. Yeah. So as someone that has been part of that whole movement, yeah. What do you think about them?
about the productions.
Yeah.
You're setting me up for failure. But go ahead. That's genuinely it's a broad question, because when you say what do I think about them, it can be a lot of things.
Okay, we have time for all those a lot of things.
Break it down.
So, we've seen a lot of them starting with the Bravas, but of course, even before you say the Bravas,
7 stories. Man.
Yeah,
those guys were.
Even when you say 7 stories, before 7 stories, there were productions that were happening. Like
that's the Gathering.
The Gathering. No, the Gathering came after.
The Gathering came after.
Yes.
Interesting.
Came after the.
That was clear at 10, right? Then before that was, I think, the Batalo East productions.
It was only the Batalo East, and then these guys, the Faizos and whatever.
Tabu Flow,
yes, they're the ones that. Okay, for me,
those
I
were
might be
OGs.
butchering it, but for me, those were the guys. And looking at those kinds of productions, and then the new age kinds of productions, what do you think? Because we all call them theater productions, yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think? The ones back then were the true theater, and then these ones are not, or it's the other way around?
I think, in a very, and I stand corrected on this, but in a very layman's language, I would say times have evolved. So there is, of course, true theater, because theater, dancing in theater, or like a theater production, has elements that define it as a theater dance production. Then you can just have a dance performance that is the same length as a theater performance. Those are two different things. Now, when you compare the two generations, those guys carried the authentic theater values, the way they told their story, because theater comes with a lot of intricacy, and by intricacy, I don't mean that movement is hard and everything, no. Like your understanding. So the primary goal of theater is they tell a story, but you're not supposed to get the same thing. Even if I come and I sit with you and we watch a theater dance production, we can't get the same message. I mean, we can, yes, but at the end of the day, they tell a story that your mind should interpret in a different way, depending on, where you're at in your life and everything. So what we have done now, for example, now I'll relate that to my show.
Yes, I'm quite playing it safe now.
No, I'll relate to my show, then I can look into a couple of other shows I've been part of. Okay. With my show, I wouldn't call it a theater production, because it doesn't carry the whole value of Simanya, figure out the message. There's just something about theater where you can sit and someone just moves around a chair for like 5 minutes. And like, what are they trying to emphasize? So they use the littlest things to emphasize details of something in theater, right? But now for my show, man, if I'm talking about faith is there. Faith is a person. You can see that the person is moving and they're putting on something that can be like, can carry the presence of God. You get it? When I'm talking about struggle, you're going to see the struggle right there. I'm going to have chaos on stage and everything. I will tell a story in the most simplest way for even someone who does not understand storytelling to understand. Yeah. Because now, for me, my goal was not tickle your mind. No. My goal was, this is it. And man, I believe storytelling should be like that. Yes, it's beautiful to tell it in like a theater way, where of course people's minds are, because man, the mind is a profound place, so it's okay for you to tickle it a bit. But what about that audience where a spade is a spade? You don't need to. If someone, for example, now me being in a Christian space, if I'm telling you about Jesus, I don't have to go and say there's a man who has a beard, who puts on white. No, I can't go through all that. I will tell you, Jesus is the way, the truth, and you get. So, I mean, of course, there is elements of, if you're going to find creative ways to say those things and relate them to we have a very low attention span right now for the Gen Alphas. So find a way to suit or like fit into that thing as well. So I think that is what has changed theater. People right now, myself inclusive, I don't think I'd sit in a 2-hour theater production where I don't make sense of it in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's me, man.
You understand? So at the end of the day, I think why our productions have changed, and a lot of them look like mine now. The only difference is my series of stories talks about me and life struggles and life problems, things that we face, compared to, let's say, the Levite who tells stories from the Bible, or like, let's see, The Gathering, or like Clay, that talks about what we go through in life, but directly compared or related to biblical stories. You get? So I think that is why all our things have changed, because at this age in time, people are very, very much attracted to things that are exciting to their eyes than, can I think about this? No, why are you thinking? It's very bad that right now, man, people use AI to almost do every single thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like to Chalo Zayad.
We are vegetables.
Man.
Yeah, that brings me to a thought I just had when you mentioned Gen Alphas. Dance has evolved. There's someone who has been in a space for like what? Since 2006.
You guys are OGs.
2006.
We used to look up to
2020. So it's like I've seen it change from what it was back then. And of course, like the direction is not what some of us imagined. Yeah. But it is the direction. You just have to go with it. And you, I believe, have been part of this journey, and you've seen the change from the OG kind of dance, the dance space, and then the now. What do you think about it? Like, are we progressing forward, or we're taking some steps back when it comes to the creative space, quote unquote, dance space?
The dance space. Well, truthfully, there's a bit of both. At the end of the day, it's really who has chosen to do what. But the biggest portion of it, I think, has moved backwards, especially with the techniques, with the authenticity and foundations of what we're doing as a craft. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense for me to do a diluted combo of amapiano and a bit of hip hop, or what people normally call hip hop because it's not hip hop, then a bit of contemporary, and I present that to the people, compared to putting in the time to actually learn this craft, learn the whys, learn the OGs and the inspiration behind a lot of this craft, and then you give people something that you understand. Normally when you're performing, I like to tell people that I teach or people that I commune with that there is no amount of work you can put in to minister to a person and they understand what you're doing. But the easiest way to do that is you minister to you. Your understanding of what you're doing is what overflows into what they're seeing. And that can't happen if you don't understand what you're doing. So tell me why someone is out there doing a production that carries all styles, but none of those styles is done in the right way. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So over time, we have we have diluted the authenticity at the cost, or like, let's say we have killed almost everything that makes dance as an art what it is, at the expense of we want to either get quick cash or stay relevant with the very fast-paced world and industry. So it's just we as craft we have not done much. When you look at the behind the scenes of that, the production, design, and everything, those guys have moved. We have a lot of new lighting, a lot of new stage designs and costuming, amazing things. But when you look at the craft itself, we are going backwards. Because now back then, when I look at, let's say, Faiz or Mostrix doing a production, he can carry an entire production of like 45 minutes alone on stage.
Yeah.
But you would see the authenticity, the foundations, like he knows what he's doing. You get?
I think it plays into what everything that's happening today, even as technology advances. We're getting into we're in the AI era.
AI era.
And all those things. We came into the telephone and social media, now in the AI. And all these things, I think the progression has always gotten towards as something all humans have always liked, simplifying our lives. Every piece of technology that comes in is meant to bring with it convenience.
But you see, now, that is where the problem is.
Exactly. I was coming to that.
Yeah.
That's where the problem is. Yeah. That even in the creative space, it has gotten to that everything has been simplified. Right? Anyone can do anything with anything. The phones have become very powerful and all those things. And it has also seeped into actual physical kinds of creativity, stuff like dancing. It has been simplified. You used to watch the Kinjas, and so those guys, their moves were not simple, but they were really good. Now, even for them, they've kind of like started dumbing down their dance. If you look at them,
yes.
I think it all these things, technology is affecting all of us in this sort of way. You get it?
It's just, man. I think now from a technology perspective and let's say AI, we are approaching tech in the wrong way. And that's because, like you said, we are lazy. We have become cabbages now. For example, AI is supposed to be a collaborative tool, not a tool that you enslave to do your work. But
that's what it has been.
Exactly. But for now, even the people that I know that I'm close to, that are my friends, that are in tech and everything, they use artificial intelligence as a slave. You get, because I'd rather throw my details into ChatGPT and it comes up with an entire CV for me.
Instead of sitting down and
you get. Yeah. Yet what you're supposed to do is you can get ideas from it to add into what you've already done. Or you get details to it, then you refine the work to sort of like keep the human voice in it. But right now, if I go into my LinkedIn, I hate LinkedIn now. Because everything looks like a bunch of different versions of ChatGPT of people talking about their skills.
Yeah. So
someone comes up and you see that LinkedIn I have a master's of Simanya Bichiame philosophy, like those heavy things. Yeah. But they have a caption that has a language that you see clearly that this is an AI module. Because all those are language modules, and people that have taken time, I am people, to understand and learn those modules, you can tell that something is AI generated. Without needing the AI, people call them AI what? Things that Simanya help you see. That's not a thing. How people see is you have interacted with the language modules and you know them.
Now it's also the same, like people use AI to detect AI.
Now that is the thing I'm very much, there's nothing like an AI detector. And I can say this to all people that think that there is Simanya software that they build specifically to detect AI. That's not a thing.
That software is still AI.
Exactly. So it doesn't make sense, because I have seen people that have done AI work and they put it into those detectors and it's not detected.
And yeah, it's AI.
So yes, so it's not that's not even 100% proved as practical. Yes, it's there in theory, and maybe I am a couple of days behind technology, but as of the few days I've done that work.
Speaking of technology and Uganda, what do you think is how do you think we react to technology, advancements and stuff? I feel like we are always one step behind everyone else. For example, the AI, Forex and whatever.
Yeah.
When Forex has died out everywhere, but now you Ugandans coming up.
Speaking up.
You understand? Now, so something with a lot of things that happen. Yeah? Why do you think that's the case? Why do you think we always catch on very, very late?
This I told you what I like the most about Uganda is our people. So, manyi omuganda agamba okutambula kulaba okudda kunyumya. Like when you go places, you come back when you have stories to tell. I'll just tell you about just Kigali because I've been there a lot of times. When you go to Rwanda and you look at the way they approach tech and how they embrace it, you feel like if you feel like the second what's that word they use? What's the second worlds? Simanya, third world. Those things.
Third world categories. Those
yes, those categories.
No, we're in a third world country.
We're in a third.
Now, that's a shit country. Hey,
No.
shit country.
Now, when you get to Rwanda, you feel like we are like 4 categories below them. No, like that's the truth.
Okay, when it comes to tech.
Yes, on tech. But
the problem is Rwanda. I love Rwanda, right?
Excuse me.
Rwanda is all we know about Rwanda is what we know about Kigali.
That's a very heavy point.
I haven't. For me, at least.
No,
I don't speak for everyone.
No, I hear you. I'm saying that because you're right.
So, honestly, it's because I've gone through it on my way back to Uganda. I've gone through it, and it seems like a very beautiful country. Yeah, the people are amazing. We connect very very many times. We are relatives.
Yes.
Distant cousins. Distant, close cousins.
Close cousins.
Yeah. What I want to do is to go and really experience Rwanda. Not because I've been to Kigali.
Not Kigali. Rwanda.
I want to go and experience Rwanda
as a whole.
Rwanda. Because I've experienced Kigali many times, and for me in my head, that's what and that's the same thing with everyone, right? And when it comes to technology, I will accept that for them, man, they're miles ahead.
Man.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think the point that you made that is very heavy is that Kigali. That is very true. Not Rwanda as a country.
So we don't know for a fact whether there's a big city somewhere where there's technology still, or it's just in Kigali.
But now,
I think that's something we need to explore.
I need to go do like a tour throughout the whole of Rwanda. It's not a big country. We can do that.
On another episode.
Okay.
We'll do that right. When we come back.
We walk through the whole of Rwanda. Yeah. But anyway, to answer your question, I think we are a very excited bunch of people. So as a country, we have, this is my theory, we have classes of people.
Like third world, we have third country people.
In a way.
Okay, keep going.
So we have those people that are here, who are our leaders, the president and his entire family and everything.
Go on.
Then we have another layer of people that are the close ones, who we like to call our Gamba Nogos, because they're the link to.
Those are the ones, they are the links.
Then there is a cloud. Then right below that cloud, we have a layer of politicians.
So when you say the cloud, these are people that assume they are part of the first family,
no,
but they are not really there.
Now, that cloud specifically separates the first 2 classes I gave you to everyone else in the country. So
there's no one in the cloud?
No. It is just a distinct separator of this is who we are.
Okay, go on.
So, let me give you examples. I'm trying to refrain from using people's names, but maybe Kanokapatu Jakasalam. So, we have the president and his entire family and everything. We have the next line of people that has people like Hamchi Gundu, Abagaga Kwagalana, such people. Right?
Yeah.
Then we have a cloud. Then below that cloud, we have our politicians, our dear MPs and ministers and everyone.
How about our advisors for the youth? Those ones.
Katata bali eno wansi like another level. So, katibana bali ku abasembede cloud yeyo. Let's say, let me give you an example, and this I've seen practically somewhere. Let's say if there is 100 million that come from the very top end,
Yeah.
or let's say from the second layer. Sentence to come cloud there, and it gets diluted from 100 to like 10. Nezikuwa ku politician yono. Zita cloud there ngazichali 100. Nezikuwa politician. Somehow nezifuka 10. Then as 10 is well distributed amongst the people.
Yeah.
Now, that is what specifically has made a lot of us slow on catching up with the technological advancements. Because you see that there is initiatives. I've worked with a bunch of NGOs that support tech and AI because I work in education. So you see people have small initiatives that send... Together. I'm an edtech, so it's ideally education and technology merged together.
EdTech.
Yes. So you seem to... You seem to there's beautiful initiatives that come, but because we have such a big wave of greedy people in leadership positions, that a lot of the money or like funding that would have helped those initiatives stops somewhere in them. And we have seen on the news our very nice leaders get imprisoned over money fraud and all those things. We know those people, right?
Yeah, of
so
course.
That is, I think
we don't know, but we know.
That that is why. Kadron Sagala can't That is today technology. It's okay to veil politics. That is why, and these are dangerous times we are voting sometimes soon. So anytime. This episode better come out after the voting because things are cool. But what I'm saying is that in itself, now me as a person, I think there's a lot I'd want to achieve. I've applied for grants. I've had conversations with people from like the Ministry of ICT and Innovations and everything. And there's people that give you hope that, hey man, this is a very nice idea. What? Let me look into it. 1 year later, nothing. And all those ideas die like that. Because I know people that are smart, but they're just there. They're living on like a 1 mil salary, monthly salary, and they're just trying to stay alive. You get. So tell me why I would push myself as a person to push that initiative, even if I know it's good for people, when I'm not going to get any kind of support. Then as a country, we have a bunch of youths that are very distracted that technology can come and it passes. Yeah. Because we are just not locked in. We are
fast enough.
Yes.
That's why it's and when it comes to the creative space, very few people kind of figure out how to integrate these technological things.
That's crazy.
Why do you think that's the case? Especially when it comes to like dancers and photographers, videographers. I've been dismayed when talking to some colleagues and they don't know some things that are happening in the industry they are in. So,
from my experience, a lot of those times that I've had such things is because people wear let's say people have a syndrome of I know what I know. And for you to be an amazing, we like to say that for what makes us amazing teachers is we don't stop learning. So a lot of the times, everyone I've interacted with that has a fixed mindset, abaya afunaka degree ke, nakola practice for like 5 years, katinga alaba ezo 5 years that dekoe, he's all knowing when it comes to that skill. And that is very sad sometimes because even as a dance teacher and choreographer, I like to think that I know my craft, but I would still show up in classes of people and learn because I know it's continuous for me to keep updating myself. But that's just dance. When it comes to things out of dance, I've seen people right now, I've seen people that use tech for like drones for videography. The guy just, of course, wears VR things, now you find that we have access to those things because I know a place in Entebbe where people actually teach how to do drone piloting as a course. But ask
bar
aviation. Yeah. But I'm not even a videographer, but I know those things. category, I was going to use Luganda. Pass through a lot of the people that I knew.
It's fine.
And tina international audience. But kale, yitako mu bantu abakola emirimu gy'oko, people that are doing videography and photography, and ask them who has done professional development in those things. You were a drone pilot, self-acclaimed drone pilot. Ne oina Mavic Air 2 is what you use for your work, and you do amazing work, right? But then, have you done professional development in that to try and develop that skill so that you stand out in a very, very competitive industry? So you find that we have a lot of bad work and mediocre work because there's just a bunch of people that know the same thing. So I know that, let's say if Baggins can shoot my wedding, I cannot give Baggins less than 10 million. You get? Because I have seen Baggins work. Someone will tell me, I know someone who can do the same work. They jamu a million billion.
I know someone cheaper.
And the person will show up with some equipment and they'll show you their work that they have done. Guys, it's okay work. And you will settle for that because you're trying to save on the money, right? Okay. So we would rather compromise on quality in the name of let's over save more, over keep more.
Yeah.
Because we are just okay keeping.
But then also here in Uganda, like our industry doesn't have a lot of money.
But why don't we have a lot of money?
We don't have a lot of money to move around, to do stuff. Now that also comes in, for the most part, we haven't understood the value in what? In telling our own stories.
I was also going to tell, that's very true. I was going to tell you that we're in the same country that has Indians. So when you say the industry doesn't have a lot of money, I'll point you to a couple of Indians that have the same resources like us, but have more money than us.
No, I'm talking about the creative.
Yes, no, creative space.
And for them even, we would, you have Indians here that would be willing to fund a film in India than fund it here. Because they know there's not a lot of money that can come out of this industry. So how do we change that? What do we do to change that?
It's only in Uganda where you find an entire DJ set that has only Nigerian, Ghanaian, and American music. And there's like 2 Ugandan songs playing. That should speak volumes. Because tuina omzibu wafe Joshua Baraka right now, who is on a global scale and is doing amazing. But then we have a lot of amazing singers and artists in the country. Naye, even you as a person, they've tried to do the copyright law and everything, but with how technology is moving, that's not enough to secure funding for these artists, right? So you as a person, as someone who's listening to us right now, how are you supporting your local artist? Can be a dancer, can be an artist, can be a business person. Why do we feel as a country that if something is attached to a white person, it's better quality than a Ugandan person?
The white savior syndrome.
Yes. Why is it that when we have a head of learning that is white, suddenly the school has a certain level of professionalism and perfection? Why do we attach that to the skin color? Those people are smart, they are wise, right? That is true. But then I've seen Ugandans that have equally the same amount of excellence.
So do you think it's how we're programmed from colonialism?
I would say that to a certain degree it might be that, because I think that is what makes me very sad about this country. Remember how I said in the beginning that I like my country because of my people. Now that is why my people put me down.
So you like your country because of the people?
Because of the people.
And you don't like your country?
Because of the people. Yes. I sound like I have double standards, but it's facts, man. Because you just think about it. Why is it that if someone is not from Uganda, they're going to earn more salary than you,
The expats.
who's a native.
I think it's the same thing everywhere. Like expatriates tend
But
to.
that's what I don't understand in the professional set, because I've been in places or in offices where someone comes in, I have way more experience, hands-on skills and everything. I am way above this person, but because they're coming from Ghana, the consultants from Ghana, they're going to earn 4 times or 5 times the money I earn.
And they need to earn more to survive in the
And
country.
no, I mean, okay, maybe to a certain degree that's important, but why are you giving them 10 million and you're giving me 2 million? When they're inquiring from me, I'm the one that is doing 80% of the work.
Yeah. As someone that's in the creative space in Uganda that has tried shooting from different places, it almost feels like these policies and rules that have been put up serve more the foreigners than they serve me. You know, instead of creating an environment where me as a Ugandan, I thrive, it's as if they are used to put me down and keep me in a place where I don't have what to do. I can't access the things I need because it's very hard to get like filming permits here in Uganda, you know. But we find a way to work around that. So for you as someone that's a dancer, how do you navigate to be able to stay afloat? You need money and all these things. How do you navigate to keep afloat regardless of these, these things that hold you back?
How do I stay afloat? I think I'm one of those people that believe how I've been raised, or what I've seen from even just my mother who has raised me, is you can throw her in anything. Even if today you tell her that you're going to become, because I mean she's an executive chef.
Yeah.
But you can give her the most random thing like data entry. Like, you're going to be doing data entry in a week, and she will make as much research as she can and show up for the job and give 100. So what do I mean by this? I am the kind of person who I'm in the dance space, right? But you're going to find me in the farming space. You find me in the tech space. You find me in the most random spaces, and I'll still be giving at 100%. So how do I stay afloat? I have taken time. Man, normally I like to say I am old, but I should not talk about age. But in my years of professional life, let's say my professional journey started when I was very young. I started working at 18? That's when I started doing actual work. I was in school, but you had to grind. So now in all these years of me being in professional spaces, I have taken time to learn as many skills as I can. And this is something I can probably live out with anyone who is a dancer. Dance can sustain you as an art.
Yeah.
That is true. I have friends that do it, that earn a lot of money from dance. I have earned beautiful chunks of money from dance projects, right? But if you don't have financial discipline for you to invest that money to make more money, and what you're earning is for your stomach and tithe, you're not going to stay afloat.
Go on.
I will say that again. If what you earn is for your stomach and tithe, you cannot stay afloat. Because we are in a world where your money needs to make money.
Yeah.
So how I stay afloat as a person is I have my head in multiple things. Where I know I don't have gigs of dance, hey, my goat somewhere is going to bring. Hey, you get where
you have a couple of goats. All right. Okay.
You know, my border guy who's riding my bike is going to give me a 10K every day. Rama.
Rama is your border guy.
Rama is my guy.
I always wondered.
I've been with Rama for like 10 years.
I always wondered.
Rama is my guy.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
shout out Mr. Rama. Yeah.
So in a way, you see that my pocket can't get dry.
Yeah.
Because dance is seasonal. That is facts. Even for people that teach dance classes, there's moments where those children don't show up because they're at school. You're paying for studio, you're paying for your transports, How are you going to sustain your bills
Yeah.
when you're earning less than 300K in a month at a certain season? Then you have a season where you earn 4 million off a project.
Yeah,
So if you don't spend that 4 million wisely, you are finished.
cooked. Like they
You
say,
get you're cooked. So my head is in a lot of things. That's how I stay afloat.
Yeah, you said something about your mother, and then you said something about how you see things, and it says a lot about how you were brought up as an individual. You know, we're doing a podcast, but like your mom coming in is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious. What was it like growing up, and what were your dreams back then?
There's a time in my life where I thought I was going to be a doctor until I got a 9 in chemistry. And that dream got crushed.
Change of mind.
Then I thought I was going to be a civil engineer. And physics said, pass 7.
No.
You get? That dream got shattered. I mean, man, how has it been growing up? I'd like to think that I've had one of the best childhoods. And that is why, for me, it's easy for me to choose to love someone even if they hurt me 100 times. Because I have experienced the epitome of love from my mother and my family all the time I've been growing up. We didn't have much because this is going to go on record, but people assume, there's someone that told me some time back that, did you study from this country? Because your articulation of words and everything you speak, I was like, bro, nze nasomera Kisugu Church of Uganda Primary School.
Wali waggulu.
Nga tusasula school fees za mitwalo 2.5 25,000. Nga bangoba school fees. And on a bunch of days, nga tula mu tax, omanya Kameme ka tax. Notula Kameme. Aha, notasasula ne bakutwalako, n'ogenda ewaka.
You could sit on the Kameme.
People don't know those things. So, fast forward into secondary school, Kololo High School, government school. All I pay in school is like, what, 50K? For essentials. I don't pay school fees. Then I study half day. Senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, you study half day.
So you guys were the pioneers of that.
We were the people. Then senior 4 and 5, you study the evening shift. Senior 6 says, Mulikalamba. But now you see, in my years of high school, I got to see my mom put in school 4 people.
Yeah.
Alone. My sister has a degree. My brother has a master's. My other brother is a filmmaker. My young brother is a filmmaker. He has certifications in those things. I have a degree. I'm doing another certification with Amazon right now. I have an exam next week. So all these things that I've seen that have come have genuinely been by God's grace. So someone asked me a question just yesterday, and they said, why do you, like, what is it that keeps you clinged onto God even when things go bad? And I told this person that all I have seen my entire life through everyone I've experienced has been God's goodness. But people don't understand the depth at which I say that. Because I have had lots of days where we have gone, you know how people say these things and you think they're just being motivational speakers. But you've gone a bunch of days without food. I have walked from Kampala City Square to Bukasa Muyenga for like 3 days straight.
Go on.
But what am I looking for? I'm looking for an education, but because I know that what my mom can do at that moment is give the money to my sister, who's ahead of me.
Yeah.
But in my half education, in the time I was doing school, like half day, I had a chance of learning a lot of skills. I got into entrepreneurship with an NGO called Educate Uganda that gave me my first job. I got into boxing professionally for like 4 years. I got a bunch of medals there. I made good friends and connections. Right now I still feed on a lot of these things because you can throw me in a fitness class, you can throw me in a self-defense class, and I carry the skills to teach those people because I've done it. So what you might look at as, hey, I've lived a sad life in Uganda, in Africa, people are starving. For me, I've looked at it as opportunity to be the person I am. And seeing my mom take us through all these things, when there's, I've never had a moment where I felt like we are starving, where we don't.
Even when you actually didn't have what to eat.
Yes, I've never actually lacked like that in my life. Yes, I have seen that it's not there, but somehow there's at least bread. Even when I know my mom being a chef and she gets good money, yes, it cannot sustain a family of 4 people that are all in school and that eat. 3 boys.
You know, that's the story of a lot of, Ugandan families growing up.
So any child who grew up in the 90s, we have a lot of things in common.
Yeah, a lot of was that, like, the lack of was very evident. And I think it's the same thing when you go further away from Kampala somehow.
Yeah.
People still live like that. But, the question I guess would be, what is that one thing, even when you grew up from lack, what has always kept you authentic to yourself and to the people around you?
Authentic to myself and the people around me, because I've been raised in kindness, and the kindest thing you can do to a person sometimes is not appear to be the best version of who they need, but appear to be the most authentic version of yourself, even if at times that means something that's not comfortable for them. So I've had friendships. I sounded like a philosopher. I've had friendships. I've had friendships that have ended, friendships that have become distant. And this has been because someone said I was too honest, or like I had their feelings, or like I am too much. I have so many emotions. We're supposed to go meet and do work. Then you don't show up and you don't say why you didn't show up. And I come at you and you're like, hey, you have so many emotions. Cut off. What do you mean? You see what I mean? So, what has kept me authentic as a person, man? Primarily, it's God's goodness. Because, man, I have experienced God. Me, when I told my story, people saw a lot of those things. I know what I've been through, and I know I would not want anyone to experience the version or the negative version of what I've been through. So that is why I carry positivity with me everywhere I go, because no one, no matter what they have done, deserve to get something bad. The same way we say we don't work to earn God's love, it should be given freely, and love itself is an action, not just a feeling. I believe that you should not work or do something to earn my love for you.
Yeah.
That is why, man, you find me, I tell my boys, man, I miss you. And they're not going to be like, hey, what are you saying? What are you saying? No, because you've cultivated a friendship where I can say, man, I've not seen you in a minute. Hey, let's do this. Where you end the conversation like, hey, I love you, and it's not weird. You get like no diddy, no chicken. Anyway, so yeah. That's what keeps me as authentic as I can be.
So, what has life taught you that is like act on your heart?
What has life taught me?
Yeah.
When you say act, something that has hurt me?
No. Edged.
That has edged on my heart.
Stuck on your heart, yeah.
From life.
What has life taught you?
I have a lot of lessons, but I think my greatest lesson would be people are people, and people are bound to fail. If you don't carry grace with you, you can't survive in any space. because no one is perfect, and just like myself, I make errors and I make a lot of mistakes and faults. So if I can't carry the same grace I have for myself for making mistakes onto other people, then again, what are we doing? What's the purpose of us relating and life as a whole?
Wow. Philosopher. Philosopher.
I was locked in.
Yeah, so, I think I wanted to know is
What the question
what is it about human connection and relationship you think everyone should know, but they don't?
But they don't. I think I learned this from my last relationship. You don't have to be perfect. And showing up as yourself weighs way more than you showing up as the version of you think those people should have. So you don't have to be perfect. Plus, it feels very heavy, but small things like apologizing, that should come easy, especially when you've messed up or like done a mistake.
Accountability.
Yes, accountability. Owning your rubbish. So it's a big struggle. I've seen it a lot in my friendships. I've failed at it a lot of times, but I've learned over time. This has been a very, very tough year. It has taught me those lessons, like a knock in my head. That take accountability, apologize for the wrongs that you've done, and it takes nothing away from you to say, man, that was not kawa that I did. And you'll be shocked how much that can change in that friendship.
Yes, that's a profound thing. But I think that a lot of people don't talk about is the what if the other person doesn't react in a way you expect them to react? Because most of the time people apologize and take responsibility because they expect like a positive kind of feedback.
That is where we get it wrong.
You understand? Most times people do certain things to take accountability because they think, okay, when I do this person will forgive me and will go back to normal. But then, what happens when it doesn't go according to your plan?
That should still be okay, because that now puts you taking accountability into question. Because if you only take accountability, or like, let's say you only apologize to mend a friendship, then that is not the right place or heart to be in. I believe that why you should apologize and take accountability is for you. At the end of the day, when you do it for you from the right place, it reflects onto the other person. And sometimes healing means going away. So if the person needs to still take time away from you because what you did was, let's say, that bad, deal with it. It has consequences. Because just because you've done wrong, apologies don't make amends. And apologies are not verbal, they are actions. So when it has not worked out, when people have left or like the person has gone away, what have you done as a person in regards to your apology? Have you put in the work to help those people heal, or have you given them space?
Yeah, I think it is, the reason I asked is because it has kind of killed a lot of relationships that I know, that I've seen. And the reason as to why, for example, someone comes and apologizes to you, and they expect you to just fall back into normal, but then you don't. You understand? You might come and apologize, and then I'm like, you know what, I don't accept your apology.
Yeah.
And then the other person gets mad because I didn't accept their apology. I did everything, I apologized, but you still haven't. Like, okay, thanks for apologizing.
That questions a lot in the motive.
Exactly. So I guess we all are human beings somehow, and as you grow, you understand that a bit on a deeper level.
Yeah.
So, like bring it back to dance. Did you ever imagine that it would be something you do until, picture this like 10 years ago, right? Is it something you ever imagined you'd do at this level?
Dance. Genuinely, no. I reached what I thought was my prime in dance when I joined a very cool dance crew, and we did a couple of tours, beat big stages of.
Shift.
We had Shift. Then I was part of Fresh.
So,
so you see what I mean. So I thought that was the prime of my career, because man, we did things, performed for hundreds and thousands of people and everything. And I thought that is where it stops. There's a time when I think in my Fresh days when I was like, I've achieved it, I am done. My heart is full. But it wasn't.
Yeah, but I think you're right. For the most part, I think it's the same. It's a problem that happens mostly to like Christian dancers. I will speak about Christian dancers because that's the space I know.
We should go deeper into that topic. Keep going.
We're still going, right? Because that's the thing I know for a fact, right? And our ceiling is normally just to step on the stage of our church. Sometimes this might not be this church, it might be like a cooler church.
The church has made it that. It's not us. But we shall come to that.
But okay, that used to kind of kill me in a way, because some people I used to dance with are still at that same level. I don't actively dance anymore, but they are still at that level, and that's the best they know. Okay. So, how do you think that affects people even as they advance in the career of dance? If they thought exactly the way we do, like our ceilings, like the way your ceiling was, how do you think that affects them as a practitioner of the art?
I think now for me, it took me getting out of active church dance performing to increase or sort of like elevate my growth. I got to a point where I was at that ceiling that you said, where, man, every single time there was something, let's get TREM, let's get as a choreographer, as a director, let's do it. And for a couple of years, I was on a flat line. And I thought that was it, until I collaborated with someone who is not necessarily in like church ministry. And they pushed me above that ceiling. And before I knew it, I started doing work or doing dance with people who are people who are not Christian. And of course, I got, what's the word? They came at me a lot for doing that, for, why are you dancing with people that are not Christian? I'm like, but what's the goal here? What's my dancing supposed to do ultimately? Is it supposed to come and, is church the only place where I get to minister, where I get to serve? I did my show at the National Theatre. I got attacked a lot for that show because somehow someone said I didn't have a section for a sermon.
What the?
So someone told me, but how do you do a show as a Christian artist where there is no section for a preacher to, say something? Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean?
Hold on, like, has it been happening in other Christian dance
productions?
Dance productions?
To a certain degree, yes. In some of them, like production happens, then we have altar call, or we have someone that comes and says something, then we continue. The same way we used to do like church productions.
I guess I really didn't notice it.
No, I mean, it's not like actively there. but
Yeah.
it has happened once in a while, right? Now, me, I did a show where everything was dance. The only people that spoke were the MCs. And that is what was the problem, according to a few individuals. But then I was like, the entire story and music and movement was the sermon. So what do you mean you wanted someone specifically to come and speak and say, Jesus is the way, the truth, and? Everything I have said is Jesus is the way, the truth, and? So what are you saying? Make that make sense. So in a way, me collaborating with people that are not in church genuinely grew my craft way more than I was when I was in church. Why? I am still in church. I don't want to sound like I'm not in church anymore.
Was, guys.
Yes.
Disclaimer.
I am. I'm still active in ministry and in church, but I've achieved my utmost growth when I go out to learn from different people. You get? And when you look, there is a way we say how we look at the dance industry as a whole. We have Christian dancers and we have secular mainstream dancers. Now, as Christian dancers, we have a special or different calling. Mainstream or secular dancers have one thing they're working with, and that is artistic excellency, which they're failing at terribly. But yes,
that's the story for another.
they have only that. As a Christian dancer, you have ministry value meeting artistic excellence, which means you're still worshiping, but you're still excellent in what you do, which means the craft you're doing has to be as good. Because the people you are in competition with have only one thing to work with. If we were in a place where we had people that are as good as Sean Liu and all those things, hey, my G, those guys have gotten artistic excellency and they're like 1,000%. There is no way anyone can call me for a gig that there is a Sean Liu somewhere. You get it? But I put myself in positions where I collaborate and learn from people very heavily, that when I show up in the Christian circle now as a choreographer and everything, a lot of my work looks different. Because I've gone out, I've taken time to go and sharpen it. See what I mean? So that cloud or that ceiling, a lot of the dancers that are serving in church are there. Because let me ask you a question. What do you think, what else is there to do if you're not performing on a stage in church? Specifically in the giving. What else is there to do?
To serve in other ways.
No, I mean in dance.
There's nothing. Really.
Exactly. So you see, that is the ceiling you're talking about.
So
but
you show up for practice.
Should it be that?
No.
We have had dance hubs before at church. We have had the local get down where people just meet and do exchanges. We have had dance competitions in church before. Yeah. But you see that even the dance competitions that are in church have secular mainstream dance groups winning them. Why? Because the dancers who are in church are seated.
I'm glad we got to that. Dance in church. Yeah? Because I believe, personally believe I'm from the era that saw dance ministry grow from nothing, almost nothing, to when it was the thing.
WDM.
And then going back down. Before WDM, the peak of dance wasn't actually WDM. When, by the time the LGD, remember the LGD, the MON,
ADG.
ADG, whatever, that's when it was actually going down. The era of dance that peaked was that season of Sword. There was Sword.
There's some people called Truth Made Solid.
TMS.
TMS, yes.
TMS actually also came towards
the
end of that era.
I mean, those are the guys I found.
So there was Sword, there was God's Army. That season. So there was God's Army, there was Sword, there was another dance group at the time. Then TMS came in. And dance was a bit more acceptable in too. Those are the guys that revolutionized dance, and it started becoming what it became around 2000, 18, around there. That's when it was like at its peak, you get it. So I've seen it come from when it wasn't recognized, when it was really recognized, and now it's going back to when it's not recognized. Do you think it has anything to do with the dancers themselves, the dance ministers in churches, or the way church is now, and the perception people have towards dance?
I think the biggest portion of that, again, my opinion, the biggest portion of that has been the church, but then the dancers have a lot of like contribution towards that. I'll start with the dancers. The people that you let's say you talked about that are very good, that have become good with the craft. What happens is people come, they join the ministry, they become amazing, they leave. It's like there is no, what do we?
There is no next step.
Yes. So when someone gets to somewhere, let's say that ceiling, they hit it for like a year, two, they leave. Everyone else that was coming has to pick themselves up again.
So the question would be, why do you think it's always the case? Why do they always leave when they get to a certain point?
Because it feels like you've finished your calling, apparently. Because you've done it, you've served in church, and all you do, it sort of like becomes a routine of, I know I'm going to show up every single for a year, I'm going to perform, let's say, in every service once a month, and that is my goal. The truth in that is that it gets boring.
Don't you think it has something to do with money and sustenance?
Now that is the side of the church. Here I was on the side of the dancer. So it gets to a point where people get bored. Like, this is all I am doing every single time. And it's very easy to divert Christian dancers into the secular world because there's a lot of exciting things. Either if you don't have an understanding and good foundation, hey, small money, and you're some one stage and you're gone. I've seen a lot of my friends do that.
You're somewhere in Bahamas on a trip
to Jakuda. Now, the thing about church though is church has treated dance, and this is almost every church I've worked with. They've treated dance as a backup art for singers. So it's as if it's not important. Like, we can do without you, but let's just help you, and Mujay, come and do a bunch of things as, it's entertainment. And there's someone that said that in one of the churches I was working with, name withheld, and they said, here, and they entertain us as we are giving. And I was like, this is a worship leader. What do you mean? This is how you see dance? And I was just very sad. So with that, with the devaluing comes the no need for maintenance, which means who's going to pay you? Should we be paid? Yes. I've seen musicians in church that are paid. There's budgets that go out for people that come and sing in church. Pastors are on payroll these days. Also, yeah. They're employees. So, in a way...
employees to the church?
To the church, yes. Oh, okay. Like the church, there's budgets that go out for these things. So why is it that all those people, their ministry is seen as relevant and important, that we can invest money in it, but when it comes to the dancer, we can do without you. And that, my friend, is why
a lot of people kind of divert.
Have gone. A lot of people have gone because of that. People that don't have the capability to find other money sources to try and explore dance in different ways. Now, like, for example, teaching classes. But how do you teach classes of an art you don't understand? Because, again, you're not growing yourself. Yeah. So, in a way, the church has not, at no one point have I seen any church seeing dance as a standalone art that they can use to actually minister.
It's just a supplement to something else.
Yet I and a bunch of my friends are in church only because of dance.
So the question...
Let me clarify. We joined church because of dance. I'd said we are in church only because of dance. That was wrong.
Yes. So the question I want to ask is, you said like they come in and then they leave at a certain point. Yeah? What do you think they should do? Because at the end of the day, they love dance. They want to be able to make a living from dance, but then they are not making a living from dance, and they need to make some kind of money to survive.
To survive.
How would you advise someone who is like a dancer, they love God, they want to minister in dance, but then they have to eat.
They have
What
to
do you
eat,
tell
yeah.
them?
So that's a tricky one. Okay, shouldn't be tricky, but there's two approaches to that.
Yeah.
Either be like me, because now me, I chose ministry not for financial gain, but that's me because I have other sources of financial gain. So I can show up to any place and teach for free. If you pay me, beautiful. If you ask for invoice, you're finished. But if you don't ask and you ask me as, come and serve, I know God has enabled me to learn the things I've learned, put me in all these spaces. Now I am giving back. I have the capability to do that. But for someone who does not, so they either do what I do, they completely devote themselves to ministry and then they find other money sources, or make yourself valuable enough to ask for that money and you're given, or that they give it to you. But make yourself valuable enough, it's the baby steps.
What do you mean make you? Like, because are you speaking to people that are taken on trips to whatever sell some other merchandise, or you're talking about another way of?
No. Specifically about the craft.
Okay.
Yes. What I mean by that is, I know people I can't even ask to collaborate with if I don't have a certain amount of money. But that's because they have put themselves in that image. Now that comes with heavy sacrifice. So are you as a person willing to refuse to give your service if you don't have the payment? And if you refuse, what's your retaliation? Like, what are you coming back to? That's the sacrifice with that. Because the way I see, or the way church has shaped dance as a ministry, is there's almost no hope of it being looked at as something they can pay for.
They can't.
So that's how it looks like, which means either you grow yourself as a Christian dance artist, you put up shows, you teach classes, you do get into fitness and all those things, and there's lots of ways you can make money from dance, even as a Christian. But if you want to use purposefully worship, I am on stage, I'm performing, and I am earning from that, that might take a bunch of years or a decade and so for us to get to that level. We are not there yet. Because even the productions we have had that have had us paid have not been in church. Why? Because we have asked for church venues and they have said no, especially if the show is going to get paid for. So we find ourselves in spaces like National Theatre on Dere, where we can have people pay the 20 or 30K, and you pay your entire cast, and that is how people earn.
Like on one of those days, I'll have a gospel musician, and I ask this same question: gospel, a worship team leader, and a gospel musician, to see how different they look at how differently they look at singing and music as a ministry.
I would want to be part of that episode, just to sit in and watch.
I'll definitely call you.
Because I think they look at it differently.
Yeah, and I'd really want to see how differently they look at it.
So there's a good friend of mine. Now let me share this. There's a good friend of mine who he's amazing. He's a Christian musician. He plays guitar.
Yeah.
He's man.
Kono, is it Kono?
Huh?
What's his name?
No, let me first withhold the name. But he's an man. He's the epitome of excellence when it comes to electric guitar and bass and all those. He's amazing. He's Christian. But this brother of mine, today you can see him playing for, what's his name? Brian Lubega at that show. Amazing work. Then a week after, he's playing for, let's say, Cindy. Now, I'd not had a conversation like this with him before, but I was like, make it make sense.
There's another thing that I don't quite get. Our time is fast spent. We have like 4 minutes. There's a thing I don't get. We've also categorized the secularness of secular artists. Right? Not Brian Lubega. This, what's his name? Oh, is it called Oma?
Kenneth Mugabe.
His secularness is not as secular as the Cindy's and whatever, Baby Cool and whatnot.
I think.
I saw that at a wedding I attended very recently. His music was okay to play, and any other music wasn't okay to play. So, there begs the question. What is going on?
Let me see if I can explain that in.
So you're going to explain that and then do a parting shot.
What's a parting shot?
Like you're concluding.
Yeah, the conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that is a very, very, very good question. Music. That takes us to the definition of what music is. Music is a tool. So of course, a tool means you can use it for evil or for good. Gospel music, primarily, to glorify the name of God and carry the presence and being of God. That is gospel music. Secular music, on the other hand, primarily something that does not glorify God. It has no God attached to it. Right? That is secular music or mainstream music. But now, the thing about secular music is... Turn the replay? Is that Levickson? How does that song go?
Turn the replay.
No, I don't know the lyrics of the song.
Okay,
but any song that does not carry the being of God or does not glorify the name of God is not a gospel song.
Gospel musicians, gospel songs that don't do that.
Those are not gospel songs. Those are songs that are sung by gospel artists.
But they're sung in church like gospel songs. And they're performed in churches as gospel.
We need a whole episode about this. Now, secular music is music that does not glorify God. Now, the thing about secular music is we have secular music that carries elements of love, of hope, of all those things. There's songs like those, right? Let's say like Michael Jackson's "We Are the World" and secular music. Kenneth Mugabe's songs about love and everything. Then there is secular music that encourages lust, objectification of people. Such music. Now, my question to everyone would be, what makes the two versions of music? This one is okay, this one is not. My answer to that would be, any music that affects my being that affects my being as a person and my faith is a no-go area. And that goes to the artist that sings the music. If someone like Sam Smith woke up and sang a song about Jesus, I would not listen to that song.
We did that song, but go on.
So, for me, that's the music. At the end of the day, if that music does not glorify God and promotes lust, all those things that go against the word of God, objectification of women and everything, no. And I guess that is why it's okay to play Kenneth Mugabe that carries love and all those things, and not another artist that speaks vulgar and curses and everything.
All right, man.
Let's have an episode about music. That one, eh?
But thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing experience chatting with you, man. We'll catch up some other time. Definitely need to do another episode.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. This was good. This was
all
good.
Right, man.